Hello, my beautiful feather tribe. Welcome or welcome back to Unbound Soul Tarot. My name is Helen and I'm an empath as well as an intuitive tarot reader here on YouTube, delivering messages in love and light to you and for your highest good. So this week's reading is going to be all about the messages that your future self has for you. So we are first going to be looking at the kind of energy that you are in right now to get a glimpse into what you are currently dealing with, and so that you could better discern for yourself whether you are actually watching the right pile. And then we are going to move on to the messages from your future self. We're going to see what they want you to know right now that would help you as you're moving towards your future. And we're going to close out the reading with some final advice or additional messages from your future selves, what they deem to be important for you to know before we close the reading. So that's the gist of today's reading. We have 4 piles in front of us. And once again, all you have to go off of are just the piles, your own intuition, and nothing more. That's just the way that I was drawn to do these piles this time. But yeah, the piles go from left to right. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 as always. If you are struggling, you can always pause the video, do a quick little meditation, and just feel into the piles, feel into your intuition, see what draws you in, whether it's something that your eye is drawn to, whether you are drawn to a specific number, whether you hear something in your mind, or whether you just have that gut reaction pulling you to a certain pile. Or even if you are pulled to several piles, that is absolutely fine too. You can watch as many piles as you wish, but generally there is going to be one pile more specifically that either stands out to you the most or that speaks to you and your current circumstances the most accurately. So yeah, just kind of feel your way through the piles and see which one you feel is going to be resonant with you. But that's that. I will leave you here to choose, and whenever you're ready, you can go into the description box down below, click on the timestamp that you need, and jump to your reading. So happy choosing, and I will see you there. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading regarding the messages that your future self has for you. I hope that you are excited. I hope that you're all doing really well. And I want to thank you for all of your likes, your comments, for just watching this reading to begin with. It really does mean so much to me that you are here. So thank you. And if throughout this reading at any point you really feel like you are enjoying this and you are resonating with the messages, please don't forget to give me a little thumbs up just to let me know that this resonates, and also you'll be doing a little act of goodwill as well. You'll be helping my channel out immensely. So yeah, thank you. Anyway, let's now get into the messages because I'm sure that that's what you are really interested in. So let's see what you are currently dealing with. Okay, we're starting off with protect your dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. Oh, we also have Mary Magdalene, divine feminine, devotion, sacred sexuality. Oh, we have dreams again. Okay. I love it when that happens. It's just like, I don't know, I always get this like weird tingle in my body as well when that happens. It's like, anyway, cool synchronicities. We have dreams, vivid dreaming, dream messages, dream teaching. And we also have Song of the Siren, the core summoning voice to acknowledge. And finally, we have the temple. Okay. So pile number 1, I get the sense that something very deep and profound is rising up within you. You may have experienced these deeper feelings, very meaningful sensations that you have been experiencing or that have been sort of coming more into your awareness as of late. Because we have both of these dreams cards here, it kind of makes me think of like a certain wish of yours or a certain desire that you may have sort of kept very close to your chest, that you may have almost kept secret, or maybe for some of you, it could even be some sort of deeply dormant or underlying desires and wishes that you haven't really acknowledged before, or that you haven't allowed yourself to acknowledge before. It may be different for all of you, but there is definitely something that is rising to the surface and sort of making itself very much known, so that you can't really dismiss those urges, those desires within you anymore. And for some reason, I do get this feeling that whatever those desires are for you, and they are going to be different for all of you, but whatever those desires are, I get the sense that you have been repressing them, almost like pushing them down, either consciously or subconsciously. There's this almost this rationalization process that you have been in for a very long time, where even if you have known what your deepest desires and wishes are, it's almost like your mind has been negating them in some way, or talking you out of pursuing them, making it seem like the dreams that you have are either unrealistic, they are too difficult or too challenging to go after, and that you're kind of better off staying where you are or following some sort of very like straight and narrow path. But I feel like those rationalizations, I feel like they have actually stemmed from some sort of wounding, some sort of trauma, or like an overprotective ego that has tried to keep you where you are. Because whatever these dreams are, I get the sense that they are somewhat risky. They are somewhat possibly kind of either wacky or out there, or somewhat untraditional. And they may be things that are hard for you to justify or hard for other people to understand. But I feel like the call within you is getting stronger and stronger and stronger to make it almost impossible for you to ignore those dreams anymore, or to ignore those urges anymore, and to repress them. I feel like you can't really do that anymore, because as you have grown, as you have developed throughout the years, and as you have matured through a lot of these experiences that you have gone through in your life, you have gotten closer to your true core, to your soul's voice. And as you have come closer and closer and closer, you're starting to like almost lose control over the sort of how should I say it, the mundane world in a way, or like the spiritual callings and the visions, the dreams, the intuitive hits that you're getting. I feel like they have gotten stronger as well as you have gotten closer to your soul's voice. And I feel that with the temple here, because this is the center card of the reading, and I feel like it has a lot of weight to it. It feels very divine to me. It feels very sacred. And that's what I feel like is representative of this, of your soul, of your core, of your authenticity, and of what your soul truly wants to accomplish or experience in this lifetime. And it definitely feels like something that is meant to almost light you up or stir something in you. Because looking at this Mary Magdalene card, and this is talking about this divine feminine and this sacred sexuality and all of that, it actually makes me think a lot of the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is the place where we sort of generate our passions, where we generate our inspiration, where we get this urge to create something. And I feel like that's what has become activated within you. So I feel like that's where you are at right now, pile number one. You are at a place where your soul is speaking to you in a much, much clearer and louder voice than ever before. And it's sort of pushing you into this space where you're starting to acknowledge more of what it is that you actually want out of life, sort of comparing for yourself whether the things that you are currently doing, the projects, the people, the relationships that you are actually putting your energy into, whether they are in alignment with what you truly want out of life and where you truly want to end up in the future, what sort of future you want to manifest for yourself to begin with. All of those like very deep and profound questions and realizations, I feel like that's the space that you are being pushed into more and more and more. And this sort of rationalization or trying to sort of play it safe, that seems like it's not really plausible anymore. It's just like your soul and your spiritual team are not really allowing that to happen anymore, as we are moving more towards this high vibrational earth, and these collective energies are rising as well. It's just, it keeps being more impossible, or it keeps getting more impossible to live some sort of lie or to live some sort of false truth or reality that has been forced upon you or that has been programmed into you, and that isn't actually in alignment with your true wishes. So I feel like the veils of deception are being lifted from your eyes, and the truth is just becoming a lot louder for you. So I feel like it's really cool that you are honoring your soul and you're honoring these feelings, these urges within you a lot more. And that you are developing this courage to actually stand up for your dreams, to be the one who believes in them, and having that be enough. I feel like you're not all there. I feel like you're still sort of, I feel like a lot of you are still in a place where you are sort of getting to that point, where you're moving towards that point. But you're still making very, very good progress in that sense. And I feel like your soul is very thankful for that. But anyway, I had another message come through, but I kind of lost it for the time being. So if it comes to me, then I may sort of come back to this section here. But for the time being, let's keep going and moving on to the tarot portion and looking now at what your future self actually wants to tell you regarding this energy that you are in. So we're going to look more specifically at what your future self wants you to focus on. Also, what they actually don't, like what is not actually as important as you may make it out to be right now. And finally, what your future self wants you to get ready for. So let's see. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords with the Chariot first. We have the Five of Swords. Oh, with a Nine of Swords in reverse. And finally, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse and the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so starting off with the Eight of Swords here with the Chariot, and these two cards are talking specifically about what your future self wants you to focus on. Now, the first thing that actually drew me to these cards was the way that both of these creatures, sorry, I couldn't think of a better word. Both of these creatures, the person and this falcon or bird, whatever it is, have their eyes closed. So I almost feel like the first thing that your future self wants you to focus on is sort of trusting yourself, even if you don't necessarily see where it is that you're going, or if you can't specifically like plan out or strategize in full depth and detail how to move forward. Because it feels like there is a lot of intuition that is playing into this whole thing. And as I said, I got this sense that your soul is speaking to you very, very loudly, that these spiritual channels of yours are very much open right now. And you are getting a lot of downloads. You're getting a lot of divine messages that are meant to guide you and support you as you are going through this sort of transitional period and moving more towards what your soul wants you to, like what sort of experiences your soul wants you to go through, and what sort of situations you are sort of meant to get into. So it feels like it's best to focus on sort of going with what you feel, going with what your gut is telling you and what you instinctually feel that you should do, or what is right or what is wrong, and sort of follow that, rather than trying to like map out all of your moves in a very, very logical way. And I'm specifically feeling that the logical aspect of this whole process is being highlighted because of all of these swords cards here. So you could be someone who is usually very logical, or is usually very like rational and very like sort of down to earth, very practical, very conscious of what to do, how to do it, like very sort of hands-on, or very controlling, having a lot of control over your moves, your decisions, your circumstances in general. And I feel like your future self almost wants you to like ease up on that a little bit, because I do feel like there is a lot of guidance that is provided to you anyway, and so you don't actually have to think that much. And the other thing that I'm sort of feeling drawn to is this Eight of Swords specifically, which sort of tells me that you may be finding a lot of like excuses, or you may be finding a lot of blocks or challenges and obstacles on your path that may slow you down if you get very tangled into them on a logical, rational level. So if you try and like figure out ways in which to avoid any sort of obstacles or challenges, you may end up in a place where it feels like there are so many things that could go wrong, there are so many things that could stand in your way, that you actually, again, talk yourself out of pursuing those things. Like we were talking about these energies here, which I feel like you have been doing, or at least you were doing previously. So I feel like there is a lot of, or there's a high probability that your mind may start playing those sorts of tricks on you again. And it's like, it's just one of those things that our minds tend to do, again, because our egos want to protect ourselves, right? We want to stay safe. We don't want to get in troublesome, difficult, confrontational situations. We just want to avoid negative experiences. That's kind of human nature. But again, I feel like your future self is sort of saying that if you go about this situation, or if you go about these messages too rationally and trying to like almost come up with like a contingency plan for everything, you may end up actually like locking yourself more in place and thinking like there are way more obstacles than there are possibilities or opportunities. And so I feel like using your like physical eyes, or relying only on the physical surroundings and your mind, is what's actually going to be holding you back more than anything else. And so a lot of this process, again, is going to be intuitive, and that's what you should really focus on, like following your intuition and following your gut, and trusting that you can overcome any sort of challenge that may be put on your way, because the Chariot is very capable. The Chariot is destined for success and victory. But it does sort of require a bit of like flexibility and adaptability as well. That's what the black and white are representing here. That's what you should focus on. Now, moving on to what is not actually as important as you may make it out to be right now. We have the Five of Swords and we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So the first message that I got with these two cards is that you may be trying to like overcome all of your fears before actually starting to take real tangible steps towards following your dreams. And I feel like it almost feels like it's, I don't want to say not necessary, but it almost feels like a bit counterproductive. Because I feel like we were talking about here with this Ace of Swords, I feel like the more you sort of try and break down all of these challenges and what ifs and everything that could go wrong or everything that could stand in your way, I feel like the more you find the solutions to those things, the more sort of areas of hiccup is going to come up for you. So again, it's almost like your future self is saying that you don't actually need to overcome all of those fears and to defeat all of those fears, which honestly, especially with the Five of Swords being here, I feel like it's not really even possible anyway. So rather than trying to, again, get to the space where you feel like fully ready, or where you feel like you have counted all of your fears and all of the possible things that could go wrong, I feel like you should just sort of start taking the steps. Again, as I was saying here, just sort of go intuitively into the process, start moving, because the Chariot is all about movement. So start moving and sort of go and adapt and be flexible and move around as you need to when you are already on the path. Because moving along and then making some mistakes or sort of falling off the path is better than not starting at all. And I feel like all of this energy here around the Chariot is specifically very much talking about like not starting at all, you know? So that's what I feel like you kind of need to look out for and be very, very mindful of. Also, the other thing that I'm feeling here with the Five of Swords is that what like other people think, or needing to like justify yourself, or needing to prove yourself, or needing to prove that your dreams are actually worthy and plausible and achievable, it's not actually necessary to make other people believe it. It's necessary to make yourself believe it. That's the main thing. So I feel like with this Five of Swords, there may be this urge or this little like tinge in you that wants to wants to prove to others something, that you are capable of achieving something, especially if they don't believe in you and they don't believe in your dreams. Because again, as we were going over this before, I do get the feeling that your dreams are somewhat like either unconventional, or there's something that your like close people, your loved ones, your family members, your community, they don't really understand. Or that's something like just very, very different from what everyone like expects you to do. So there is a slight like risk element there, I feel like. And that's what this Five of Swords is indicating. So I feel like this urge within you to prove it to others that you can actually do it is not something that you should waste your energy on. That's what your future self is saying. You shouldn't waste energy on trying to convince others that you can do this. You should convince yourself. That's the main thing. And again, I feel like following your intuition, following your gut, and sort of starting to take the steps and actually moving towards that is the best way to do it. And that's why all of these swords cards are here, to say that the sort of the mental aspect of it is not actually that important. It's more important to actually get a move on. And finally, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse with the Nine of Pentacles. And these two cards are talking about what your future self wants you to get ready for, what is coming. And the thing that I'm feeling here is that with the Knight of Cups coming out reversed specifically, I feel like it's saying that like your dreams are not going to be just on like dream level, but you will actually see physical manifestation of those dreams with the Nine of Pentacles here. The Nine of Pentacles it's also funny that it's the only earth element, it's the only physical realm element here. Everything else is sort of on the mind level, and the Knight of Cups is the emotional sphere, your dreams and all of that. But because it's coming out in reverse, I actually feel like it's sort of not being it's not going to be only on the sort of the imaginary level anymore. It's going to actually be something that comes true, something that you can actually see physical proof of. That's what this Nine of Pentacles here is representing. And I feel like even just on like a symbolic level, because this Nine of Pentacles, yes, it may symbolize you actually achieving some sort of like rewards or some sort of financial profits, or like some sort of payout. It could be that. But on a symbolic level, I feel like it's just talking about this sense of personal security or confidence or self-belief and self-trust and just relying on yourself. Because it's like, again, I feel like taking steps towards your dream is actually going to start showing you that it is possible, and you'll start like making yourself believe in it more and more and more by just like taking the steps and going after it rather than just planning for it. And so this looks like your dreams can actually manifest and become real. And so this Knight of Cups in reverse, which may also symbolize like some sort of uncertainty or having doubts about your dream or whatever. I feel like because of the Nine of Pentacles here, it's saying that you won't have to like have these doubts anymore, because these doubts may be something that are in your mind right now, or they may be something that you are sort of battling with, even as your soul is speaking very loudly and very clearly to you. You could be like battling with that rational voice inside you too. But I feel like that doubt is going to be subsiding as these proofs are actually cropping up around you, or as you start proving to yourself more and more that this dream is possible, that you are capable of achieving those things and actually making the life for yourself that you want, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel abundant and taken care of, and just getting you in a state of well-being. So yeah, I really love that. It looks really, really good, pile number one. But that's what your future self had to say to you more specifically. But we're going to close the reading out with some last oracle cards. And these are going to be, again, either some additional last messages that your future self wants you to know, or it's going to be advice for you. So let's see. Okay, we're starting off with Pisces Sensitize. We also have Chiron Heal. Beautiful. And finally, we have Fourth House Home. Okay. So with the first message here, with Sensitize, because Pisces is such a sort of like spiritual, almost like an otherworldly zodiac sign, they are so in tune with their emotions, and it feels like they almost live in another dimension, or they are somewhat like on a higher vibrational level. And it just feels like you are being, as I said, you are being more sensitized. You are being more put in touch with the spiritual, with the divine, with your own like inner landscape as well, with your own intuition. And as these things are getting more and more like activated within you, you'll start feeling a lot more too. And so I feel like that's what the Sensitize is sort of symbolizing here. But I also feel like it's a bit of it's like an advice to you as well, or a suggestion from your future self, saying that it is going to be a lot easier for you to go through this process when you tune more into your emotions and sort of move out of your head a little bit, so that you could actually feel more. Again, I feel like this feeling aspect is super, super important, because that's the thing that is going to be like your compass. Now, we also have this Chiron Heal energy. I do feel like one of the things that is going to be healed through this process is your connection with yourself, actually, first and foremost. Because it's one of those things that like when you are actually able to prove to yourself what you are capable of, how much you can actually achieve, you become unstoppable. And having belief in yourself is one of the most important things in life, and it's one of the keys to success for sure. And especially because I have this feeling that you may have had a lot of doubts in the past. And you may still be battling with some doubts, especially as we're looking, as we saw from these cards here. But I feel like it's something that you are sort of moving away from and something that you are resolving. So I feel like your future self wants you to really focus on that and keep that at the forefront to heal your connection with yourself and to heal this, again, this trust and belief in yourself. And finally, with the message of home, I keep feeling like arrival. That's what it feels like to me, or that's what I keep hearing in my head. It's like you're going to be arriving somewhere very like familiar or very secure or safe. And there will be an element of like you recognizing that that's where you are meant to be as you go through this process of like starting to actually listen to what your dreams are and starting to pursue them actively. So just making sure that wherever it is that you do want to arrive, or wherever it is that you do want to end up in, keep that sort of as your focus as well. Don't lose sight of that, especially when you start getting like the jitters, or if someone else is like challenging you, trying to undermine your dream or trying to like talk you out of it as well, because yeah, I mean, other people's influence can be quite severe. So just keeping at the forefront of your mind where it is that you actually want to go, that's going to be a really good motivation for you as well to just keep going. Yeah, that's it, pile number one. Wow, this was quite a reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it made sense to you and that you got something useful out of this. Please do let me know in the comment section if this resonated. And also, I mean, if you don't really want to leave a comment, that's fine too. You can just give me a thumbs up and that way I would know. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, because I would really love to have you here on my channel as part of my little feather tribe. And I would love to hang out with you in the future and do more of these cool readings. So definitely don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on all of that. But yeah, anything that you need is in the description box down below. You can find out all the information there. If I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, pile number one, and I hope to see you very soon in my next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading regarding the messages from your future self that they want to give you right now. I hope that you're all doing really well, and I thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all of that good stuff. And if throughout any point in this reading you feel like this message is really speaking to you, it's resonating, you are finding it helpful and useful, please give me a little thumbs up and it would help out my channel immensely. So yeah, don't forget to do that. But let's keep going straight to the cards. So let's see what it is that you are currently experiencing. Okay, we have hidden depths. Something hidden is about to come to light. Perhaps a secret or memory at the back of your mind. When we expose what's hidden, we can become free. We also have Archangel Ariel. Environment, abundance, guardian of the earth. We have sanctuary, privacy, inviolate personal space, respected boundaries and taboos. And we have sacrifice. There are those worth making, there are those that will destroy you. And finally we have the land. Okay. Wow, pile number two. I do have to confess, this energy feels super confusing to me. It's really difficult to make sense of it. It's almost like it's scattered, and at the same time it almost feels like it's out of reach. But the one message that I kept getting, or that like the word that kept repeating in my head, especially when the land card came out, was buried. Like, I have this sense that something in your life, or it might not actually even be in your external realm, it might be something within you as well, but something is very deeply buried. And it's almost like a lot of your energy is going into and has gone into trying to keep it that way, trying to keep it buried, trying to keep it very, very, like, I don't know, pressed deeply down somewhere, and guarding it, making safe, making sure that it stays safe, and making sure that no one has access to it, no one uncovers it, no one reveals it. Now, if it is something outside of you, then it could be that you are like either keeping something secret or keeping something hidden for someone else, to protect someone else, or to protect something that you share with someone else. So it could be like a relationship thing where you are keeping someone else's truth hidden, or something about someone's history you're keeping to yourself and not sharing with anyone, or maybe even something regarding your relationship and the truth of what is really happening in that relationship. You may be guarding that very closely, or keeping that sort of buried, and not letting others see what is actually happening behind the scenes. But this could also be talking about something within you. So you may be trying to sort of protect or safeguard or hide something about you, feeling like if you expose it, or if you allow someone to get too close to you where they can actually see this thing that is buried in you, then like it will do you harm, or it will somehow push you in a space where you lose out on something, or where something gets broken or something gets ruined. So whatever this is that is buried, or this thing that you are protecting and safeguarding, I feel like it has a lot of value to you. It has a lot of meaning to you. Again, if it is like a relationship thing, or if it is something like in your external realm, it feels like you are doing it, you're keeping this secret, or you are burying this thing because of the love that you have for someone else, or the love that you have for this thing that you are keeping sort of secret. But I feel like if it is something within you, it could be, again, like something, a piece of your history, something that you did in the past, something, some sort of trait that you have, or some sort of like deeper wishes, desires, or something like that, that you are not really sharing with anyone. It could be like a personality trait that you're not allowing anyone to see. It could be some fears that you're not allowing anyone to see, or that you are trying to bury deep down. Whatever this is, I feel like the fear in you is that if someone actually saw that, if someone had access to that, they could use it against you. So either way, I feel like fear is ruling the situation some way. Like you are very, very scared of that thing coming to light, or that thing being exposed somehow, or you losing that thing somehow, losing control over it more specifically. But because of this sacrifice card here, I am getting the sense that keeping this thing buried is actually doing you more harm than it is good. It's actually keeping you stuck in some way, or yeah, I just feel like it's detrimental to you. It's either detrimental to your like mental health, it's detrimental to your like physical health. It could be detrimental to just like your relationships and the experiences that you have in life in general. Because it's like it's almost like some aspect of you is being locked off or cut off from other people. And so you are not like fully experiencing life, or you're not fully participating, or you're not fully allowing yourself to experience everything that is available to you because of this thing that you are sort of keeping hidden. Just like this card says, when we expose what's hidden, we can become free. And I feel like right now, there is some aspect of you that is not free. even if it is something that is, like, as I said, even if it's something that is intangible, if it's like a secret or a memory, or just like some sort of knowledge that you have, or some sort of trait within you that you are keeping safe or buried, it's like it's still like keeping tabs on you somehow. It's still like something that is at the back of your mind, something that is constantly there, and something that is constantly seeping energy. It's draining you because you have to have constant control over this thing. And I also feel like pile number 2, I don't know, this feels a bit like melancholy, so take it as it resonates. For some of you, it might not be that severe, but I'm getting a lot of loneliness. This isolation energy is coming through here too, where it's like, even if it is a relationship, even if it is a secret that you're holding for someone else, or like, you know, if this is something that you share with someone, it still feels like no one really knows what you are truly going through. No one really knows what it means to keep something safe, or to keep something out of sight and out of bounds for as long as you have kept it. I feel like no one knows how much it's actually taking out of you and how taxing it is. As I said, I feel like it's detrimental. It's crushing you in some way. Again, for some of you, it may not be that drastic. It may be something that is just like a nuisance, or something that you are getting like slowly drained by, but you may not actually acknowledge it that much, but it's still there. It's still like this pesky little thing that you have to deal with, or this, again, this fear, something that is keeping fear alive in you. But for others, it's actually something that like consumes a lot of your life, or a lot of your mental space, or a lot of your heart, and it's feeding into like paranoia. It's feeding into not allowing yourself to get too close to anyone, not trusting people, not being willing to share, or not being willing to accept anyone else's like love or affection or support either. Like it's just keeping something very vital to life, and very vital of like actually enjoying your life, out, or like not allowing you to actually connect to some aspects that make life worthwhile because of whatever this is. So yeah, I hope, again, as I said, this kind of feels confusing to me, and somewhat scattered. So I hope that I was able to deliver the message that I am feeling from these cards as like logically as I possibly could, and that you could make sense of these messages. Obviously, if you can make sense of these messages, you're still here, you're watching, and you are waiting for the future, for the messages from your future self. But yeah, I have to be honest, it doesn't really make too much sense to me. So hopefully you know more of what I'm actually talking about. But let's now move on to the tarot portion and see what your future self wants to tell you. So we're first going to look at what your future self actually wants you to focus on, what is important for you to focus on. Then we're going to look at what is not actually that important, what you may deem to be very important, but what your future self wants you to sort of not worry about too much, not put that much energy into. And finally, we're going to see what you should get ready for, what your future self is sort of alerting you to, or saying that is coming. So let's see. Okay, first we're starting off with the Hierophant. Oh, and the Magician. We then have the Eight of Wands with the Page of Cups. Finally, we have the Three of Swords, wow, with the Five of Pentacles. Okay, don't get stressed, don't get worried. I know that these last two cards are somewhat distressing, and you know, they are not usually the cards that make people super happy to see them, but we will talk about them, so don't worry. Starting with the Hierophant and the Magician as what your future self thinks that you should focus on or wants you to focus on right now. So we have two very powerful major arcana cards here. And this is telling me that your future self wants you to focus on the bigger picture, especially with the Hierophant here. I feel like it's important for you to actually consider where your loyalties lie, what your values are actually rooted in, and what truly matters to you the most. Because the Hierophant symbolizes what we believe in. It symbolizes like the deeper motivations of why we do something, why we act the way that we do. What sort of like programming are we operating from? And so I feel like, especially with the Magician here, it's important for you to realize the reasons, the true deep reasons why you are keeping this thing safe or buried. What is it actually for, and who is it actually for? Because with the Magician, the very important thing to remember is that the more you focus and put your energy into something, the more you are going to attract that type of energy back to you. And so keeping in mind that the thing that you are sort of focusing on is the thing that you're actually creating more of in the future too, it sort of asks you to consider whether that's something that you keep wanting to experience in the future too. I mean, I can't answer that question for you, and you only know what the answer is, and even your future self can't say like that's what you have to, or that's what you need to think, because you are currently in this position and you have the free will to do as you please. And these messages are only here to guide you. You can really go off of only the knowledge and the experiences that you have right now. So ultimately, it's up to you how you want to handle this situation. But I feel like the Magician being here is a very clear message from your future self that you may benefit greatly from focusing on where the majority of your energy or focus is going, and what you actually want to bring about. If we are in an energy of, like, again, secrecy, feeling like we have to keep something hidden, or we have to not let anyone see the real aspect of us or see the truth, we are also attracting people like that towards us too, who don't trust us, who keep things hidden from us, who don't fully let their guard down ever. And so, you know, there's just this like dissonance where you don't really get the actual experiences of life that you maybe would like to get, especially with the Hierophant being here. I feel like there were true deep yearnings, desires, wishes, dreams that you have, but I feel like they are not being acknowledged because there is too much power, too much weight regarding whatever this is that you are keeping buried. So just be mindful of that. Again, look at the big picture, zoom out and focus on the long term, like 10, 20, 30 years down the line. Where would you like to go? And where would you like to end up then? Or where would you like to be by that point? And consider whether what you are doing right now is conducive to that. Whether it's actually helping you get there, or whether it's not really helping you get to your dreams or what you truly value. Because we're now moving on to the Eight of Wands and the Page of Cups. And these two cards are talking about what your future self wants you to know that is not actually, what is not as important as you may make it out to be right now. And the weird thing is, this Page of Cups here, I'm not actually getting a very like traditional meaning from that card at all, especially because of the illustration of this card. I keep feeling the sense of like you like sort of convincing someone, or you making someone believe something, or making other people like look up to you or admire you in some way. And I feel like it's not actually that important at all, especially regarding like your success, because the Eight of Wands is like very quick movement, very quick progression. It's like having your sight on something and moving confidently towards that. And I feel like whatever you may feel, or I feel like the thing that you are keeping hidden, I feel like you think that it is very important, or it's a key element of your success. The fact that other people are not privy to whatever this thing is something that allows you to be successful and allows you to be like respected or admired or looked up to or valued, loved, cherished, appreciated, whatever it is. But I feel like your future self is actually saying that that's not the case. That having this almost like illusioned awe or illusioned appreciation from someone, it's not actually worth the effect that you are getting. I feel like it's not actually truly the key to your success. And I feel like that's what these two cards here are saying. And more specifically, if this thing that you are keeping buried is for someone else, then I feel like these two cards are also urging you to consider that you don't have to be the person who like helps someone else succeed or help someone else get to where they want to go. It's not your responsibility to be there for someone in that capacity, or to sort of be the key to their development, or help them get to their desired results. You know, I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense, because as I said, I'm struggling so much because this thing feels so like out of reach to me energetically and very, very confusing. But I hope that made sense, especially if this thing that you are keeping hidden is for someone else. Okay, so that's what your future self wants you to consider. Again, whether this sacrifice that you are making for the sake of someone else is actually worth it. Okay, and finally, we have the Three of Swords and the Five of Pentacles as what is sort of coming, or what's ahead. And I feel like the thing that these two cards are symbolizing here is that you can't really escape this sort of disappointment, or this falling apart of whatever this thing is that you're trying so hard to sort of control or keep under wraps. I feel like it is going to come to light sooner or later, especially if this sort of thing, this secret, is something that you share with someone. Then I feel like this Three of Swords is indicating that even if you do your best to like hold up your end of the deal, or you are safeguarding it, then I feel like this other person may not actually do that. So this section here is saying that even though you may be putting in a lot of effort on your part to keep this secret hidden, or to keep this thing buried, the other party may not keep their end of the bargain, and they may end up like betraying your trust or letting you down somehow. So I feel like that's for those of you who are holding this thing secret for someone else. So yeah, it looks like the effort that you are putting into it is going to reap some like not that desirable results. So I'm sorry to say that. I know that it sucks to hear like those types of messages, but I have to be honest about what I see here. And that also allows you to like be prepared, or to, you know, to get ready for some sort of like disappointment, so it won't be that hard of a blow if it comes. And it also allows you to make some changes accordingly, so you won't have to see this sort of result necessarily if you choose to act in a different way. But I feel like the other message here is that, especially if the thing that you are keeping buried is something within you, or it's not external to you, I feel like these cards are saying that like you're not going to actually, as I said, you're not going to benefit from keeping this thing buried or keeping this thing secret. Because I feel like it's keeping you stuck somehow. It's keeping you almost like imprisoned, or some part of you, so that again you're not able to like fully experience life in all of its joys and pleasures and all of that. And so the longer you sort of keep that thing under wraps, or the longer you try and bury it, or almost like repress it and make it like, make it seem like it doesn't exist, I feel like the more you are going to drag out this process of like not actually being fulfilled, not actually being happy, and not getting out of life what it is that you truly want. Because both the Three of Swords and the Five of Coins are talking of like lack, are talking of feeling incomplete. But I feel like this sort of energy or this situation is avoidable. And so I feel like that's why these cards are here. That's why your future self is saying that it's really important for you to sort of, again, pay attention to what you actually want to create. Because there is a lot of power in your hands with the Magician here. There is a lot of power that you have over the situation. And if you act according to what you truly value, what you truly believe to be important, and what you truly want to see manifest in your future, what sort of blessings and positive things you want to bring about, and focus on those instead. So that means like setting yourself free, or surrendering to this thing, or not allowing that thing to have this much power over you. That's what allows you to actually prevent this situation from happening, to prevent this energy from realizing. And I feel like that's why your future self is actually talking about it. That's why your future self is making such a bold statement, or like a very weighted and loaded message here with both of these cards. But I feel like either way, just in a more, how should I say, more like a neutral, or almost like in a positive sense, I feel like the Three of Swords is symbolizing that this whole situation is actually going to teach you a lot about how this, like cutting yourself off, or cutting some aspect of yourself off, or sacrificing your own needs for someone else, especially if that sacrifice is doing a lot of harm to you, if it's very, very detrimental to you. I feel like it's going to teach you how that actually deprives you of the positive experiences in life, or how that takes away from you, and how that really affects you negatively. So I feel like there is a big lesson here, either way, whether you choose to act before the sort of the negative, the true negative influence comes about, or whether you sort of carry on as you have, because as I said, this is your free will. You get to decide what you want to do, whether you want to keep protecting and safeguarding this thing, or whether you want to let it go. It's completely up to you. But I feel like either way, you are going to have this realization and sort of this very valuable lesson of what is worth the price of you sacrificing yourself, and what isn't. That's what I'm feeling here. So I hope that the messages made sense to you, pile number 2. I really do. But yeah, that's what your future self has to say to you right now. And I feel like these are very, very important messages that, again, only you can decide what you want to do with them, if you want to listen to them, if you want to make changes in your decisions and in your actions accordingly, or whether you don't. That's absolutely in your hands. But yeah, I do feel like your future self is actually very, almost like dramatic in the way that they chose to express these messages to you. They feel very weighted, very heavy, and very like punchy, almost very meaningful. So I feel like your future self wants you to be very, very mindful of what you decide to do from here on out. Yeah. But anyway, Let's look at these final oracle card messages to close the reading out. And these are going to give us some last pieces of advice or some last important messages that your future self has for you. Okay, beautiful. We're starting off with strength. We also have communication. And we have exploration. So with the strength card here, I feel like the message is very, very clear, and it almost ties me back to this magician energy, which makes me feel that you are actually so much more strong and powerful than you realize. You may feel like you are somewhat powerless, or you may feel like this thing that you are trying to hide or keep under wraps has a lot of power over you, but I feel like it's an illusion. I feel like it's actually a trick of the mind, and you have a lot more power and strength within you than you actually believe to have. So yeah, I feel like your future self wants you to tap into this strength and realize that you actually get to decide. You actually get to choose what sort of direction your life takes from here on out. Now, with this communication card being here, how you talk to other people and how you talk to yourself has a lot of weight right now too. And I feel like the whole key to your liberation is actually sharing. It's putting it out there, getting it out of you, even if you don't want to, like, whatever this thing is that you are trying to hide or suppress or bury, even if you don't want anyone to sort of see it or have access to it, you can just like write it in your journal, or you can write it somewhere on a piece of paper and even like burn that paper afterwards if you don't want to risk anyone finding it or whatever. But I just feel like there is this need to actually get it out of you, to share that message, either with like someone that you fully trust, like your closest person, or just like share it with the divine, share it with, you know, whoever you believe in, just putting it on paper, getting it out of you, and then like doing with the paper whatever you want to do. But like, just the whole process of you not keeping it to yourself inside of you anymore, I feel like that in and of itself is going to have such a profound liberating effect. And I feel like that's why this communication card is here. And finally, we have this exploration with the 9th house. And yeah, it feels like your future self urges you to explore more, to, again, set yourself free from whatever this thing is that you have been sort of staying stuck in. It's urging you to go and see what else is out there, to just like sort of almost, I don't want to say it, but like throw caution to the wind in a way, and see what happens. Because I feel like you have been in such a restricted or controlled energy for a very long time, and it's stifled your growth, it's stifled your development. As I said, I feel like there are so many things, so many experiences that you have been cut off from because of this desire to like keep something hidden. And I feel like your future self is saying that is like, it's enough of that. Like it's time. It's time to see what else is out there, to open yourself up, because that's the 9th house. That's open-mindedness, and just seeing what you can experience. Yeah, this to me feels like a message of just trust, a message of release, surrender, of liberation, and of courage, really. And I know that it's a lot easier said than done, but I feel like one of the main things that your future self wants you to realize is that the power does not lie in whatever this thing is that you're trying to keep secret, or even in the relationship or this other person who you are keeping this secret safe for. The power lies in you. And when you realize that, your whole worldview has the potential to change. So yeah, wow, pile number 2. I don't know. I swear to God, this message feels so like consuming that I almost like keep getting lost in it, and it's been really difficult to get the words out. And I hope that the messages, you know, still came out in a logical way, or in a somewhat reasonable way, and that, you know, they spoke to you. That's the main thing that I hope that you actually got from this reading, that these messages spoke to you, that what your future self wanted you to know and realize that you got the message. I would be so interested to know if this actually, you know, made sense. So yeah, if you want to share with me, or if you feel, just to let me know that this message, you know, didn't just like go in the wind, so to say. I don't even know whether that's an expression, but you know, I hope that it worked for at least one of you. So I would love to know if that's the case. But thank you so much, pile number 2, for watching. And yeah, I do hope that you subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't done that already, and if you want to do more of these readings with me in the future. But anyway, I'm going to close this reading out because I feel like I'm in such a spacey zone right now. Thank you for watching. And if you want to find out any information, you can find all of it down in the description box below. Everything that you need is there. So if you're interested, check that out. But anyway, if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves. And I do hope to see you very soon in my next reading. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. I hope that you are doing well and that you are excited for this. So first and foremost, thank you to everyone who has been liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, doing all of that. It really means so much to me. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. But yeah, having said that, let's get straight into your reading. We're going to start off with these oracle cards to see what sort of energy or situation you are in right now. So let's see what you are dealing with. Okay, we're starting off with protection. The fairies of protection are shielding you with a magical fairy ring of love and light. Practice psychic protection before embarking upon any spiritual work. We have Archangel Chamuel, unconditional love, heart healing, self-love. We have sisterhood, friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, joy, delight. And I also noticed that we have number 5 with Archangel Chamuel, and we have number 41, which reduces down to 5 with the sisterhood card. We also have Yemaya, origins, freedom, power. And finally, we have another number 5 with the well. I'm getting the message that you are very much in emotional energy right now. I feel like you yourself are having a lot of emotions during this time that are rising up within you. But I also feel like you are surrounded by a lot of emotional energy too. And I mean, like, first and foremost, I'm looking at these 2 cards here. And I mean, it's just like bursting with this support and protection and love and just wanting to be there for someone. That's what it feels like. So you may notice that, like, your friends, your loved ones, even maybe some people that you have sort of lost touch with at one point in time, have started like sort of coming back to you, getting back in contact with you, reaching out, asking about how you're doing. I feel like the people around you are just like extra sort of caring and loving at this time. So you may find a lot of like healing actually from your relationships, from your friendships, from your familial relations. But as I said, I feel like there is a lot of emotional energy that is sort of surging within you too. And it almost feels like a chain reaction, I must say, where the sort of the relationship emphasis or the connections that are being very much activated for you right now, I feel like that is kind of like leading you more towards some sort of deep emotional healing within you, and almost helping you heal some aspects of like your past self, or some aspects or some wounds that maybe haven't allowed you fully to be yourself, or to be confident in yourself, and to love yourself for who you are. But I feel like these people, with them sort of appreciating you and valuing you and loving you, that is almost like fueling this process of you starting to love yourself more too. So I feel like you are at this time in a very like emotionally uplifting energy. There is just this appreciation, joy, delight, beautiful, beautiful, sincere energy that I'm feeling here. Now, if you are looking at this reading and you're like, I don't really have those people in my life, or I don't really feel that sort of support right now, then I feel like there are two sort of distinct scenarios. Firstly, it could be that you just haven't met these people yet, and these people are sort of coming into your life very, very soon. And the other one I feel is that you may be like surrounded by this loving energy in an energetic realm. So they may not actually be physical people around you, but there is definitely an energetic cloak of love and support and protection around you. So take it as it resonates. But I do feel like at this time, especially with the Well card being here, it's almost like your cup is being refilled, or like your emotional capacity is expanding, it's growing, and your ability not to only love yourself, but also in turn love other people and show care and affection towards other people, that is expanding as well, which allows you to draw in even more loving energy to you, because it can sort of be this receptive or like flowing give and take energy. So looking at this card with origins, freedom, and power, I feel like you are actually sort of at this time coming back to your true loving self. But it may be that because of some past experiences, some heartbreak, some disappointment or betrayal, or just isolation even, there may have been a time where your heart space wasn't as open, where your heart space was a bit more like closed off, reserved, or blocked or restricted in some way. And so this is almost like a reopening of your heart space. Because as I was saying when we first laid out the cards, I was noticing all of these fives. You have 3 5s on the table here. And numerologically speaking, the number 5 speaks of change. It speaks of disruption to the status quo, because it follows number 4, which is all about stability and structure and rules and like this very like defined foundation. Number 5 is almost like this spanner in the works that gets thrown after number 4. And so something is changing, something is growing, something is expanding, or it's being shifted. And that's exactly what I feel like you are going through right now. But you are going through this shift on an emotional level. Your heart space is the thing that is being most affected by this energy. And I feel like it's just absolutely beautiful. It's so yummy, it's so sweet, and it's exactly the type of stuff that makes life worth living. Pile number 3. So I do have to say this is beautiful. And even with this, because this card is just, there's so much power here, there's so much majestic energy, almost like divine feminine energy that I'm feeling. And it doesn't mean that you have to be female, it's just the archetype that I'm feeling. And it does tell me that whatever this, or however this emotional sort of expansion is occurring for you right now, it's definitely having an effect on your self-expression, how you carry yourself, how you portray yourself to others, how you relate to other people, and sort of just this innate aura that you have. It's affecting all of those things. And I feel like you are starting to stand up a lot more strong, a lot more bold, a lot more accessible as well. even though, as I said, I feel like you are very much supported and protected at this time, there's something about you that is gaining a lot of like weight or gaining a lot of oomph. And so that in and of itself is allowing you to be more open and be more receptive to others without risking any excessive damage or like destruction to this new sense of self that you are building. And I feel like this new sense of self is being built with love. It's being built with caring and nurturing. It's being built by this feminine energy. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels really, really beautiful and magical, pile number 3. I must say, really, really nice energy. And yeah, even with this rainbow that we can see on the well card here, it looks like things are definitely sort of looking up for you. And even, oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't even notice. We have the rainbow colors here on this protection card as well, with all of these fairies being represented by different colors of the rainbow. So yeah, and as we all know, rainbow comes after the rain, after the storm, and it's that symbology of things sort of turning for the better. So yeah, that's what I feel like you are dealing with right now, pile number 3. And if that is you, if you recognize this heart expansion energy, this very emotional energy, this connectivity, or this desire in you for connectivity as well, if you feel all of those things, then you are definitely watching the right pile. And yeah, let's just keep going. So now we are going to look at the messages that your future self wants you to know right now. And the way that this is going to go is we're first going to look at what your future self wants you to focus on. We're then going to see what they actually don't deem as important as maybe you think that something is. And finally, we're going to look at what is coming your way, so what you should prepare yourself for. Wow. Okay, yeah, we're starting off with the World and the Hermit. Oh, I'm laughing because I'm going to tell you in a second why, but this is too perfect. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have the 9 of Cups. Interesting. And we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. We're going to talk about that in a second too. Oh, beautiful. And finally, we have the Wheel of Fortune with the 2 of Swords. Interesting energy. Okay, so let's start with the World and the Hermit. Now, the reason why I was kind of chuckling or laughing here is because these 2 major arcana cards, it's almost like they perfectly sum up the energy that we were just describing, and that's why I was laughing. The World card, as you may already know too, is a card of accomplishment. It's the last card of the major arcana. It symbolizes a massive, massive cycle or chapter or journey coming to a very important point of culmination, reaching some sort of conclusion, reaching some sort of result. And as this chapter is closing, because the world is round, another chapter is opening and you start another journey straight off after finishing up something previously. But the World does also symbolize just kind of taking this breather in between and actually taking the time to celebrate and enjoy and acknowledge the achievement that you have just made, especially because the World symbolizes a grand achievement, a massive, massive change that is going to be happening, but it's something that you should be very, very proud of accomplishing. So it's kind of interesting to me that it's coming out right next to the Hermit card, which is a card of self-isolation. It's a card of this drawing into yourself. It's a card of separating yourself from others. It's kind of like the exact opposite of this connectivity and reaching out and social energy that we were talking about here, and that I feel like you are either surrounded by right now or that you will be surrounded by very soon. The thing to focus on here, what your future self is saying, is to close the chapter of self-isolation. Because as I was saying, I think I even mentioned isolation at one point through these cards, so that's kind of interesting, that this like reserved or closed off heart space that you may have been experiencing for some time, I feel like with your future self bringing out these cards, it's clear that it's sort of saying that you can be done with it now. You have done the necessary introspection. You have done the necessary inner growth processes, at least for the time being, and tied to this chapter that you have now closed out or are currently closing out. And so there's no point for you to sort of protect your heart space anymore. You don't have to do that because your heart space is not actually being threatened. Again, you are in this position of a lot more power now, and as this building up process is happening, it's more and more easy and more safe for you to actually open up and not have to protect yourself from others by keeping yourself at arm's length or distancing or barricading some aspect of you off from other people. You don't really have to do that anymore. And I feel like that's why your future self is bringing out these cards here. So just, if there is any aspect of you, because this is a general reading, so you're going to be in different places here regarding your own journey, I mean. So if there is any aspect of you that still feels somewhat scared or still feels somewhat hesitant to open up to people, if there is still an element of distrust or feeling like you have to protect yourself or you are unsafe from other people hurting you, or you are afraid of connecting fully with others, then I feel like your future self is saying that it's kind of time for you to consider closing that aspect out. Or if you need to figure out what it is exactly that is keeping you in that space, or that is feeding those fears in you, then you may need to do some more soul searching, some more digging deep into yourself to figure out where those fears are coming from. But with the world here, it feels like your future self is saying that you're ready. You are ready, and it's time to close that sort of more isolated, more cut off time of your life and sort of dive fully into this emotionally open and loving and just healing energy. Now, moving on to the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Swords. The reason why I was chuckling here, pile number 3, is because these two cards are talking about what your future self doesn't deem as important as you may deem right now. And now the Nine of Cups is a very beautiful energy. So when that card came out, at first I was kind of okay, that's interesting. I couldn't really understand why it was here, but as soon as the Queen of Swords came out, I understood very well. So the Queen of Swords is a very composed, very protective, very reserved energy. And especially because she's coming out with the Nine of Cups, which is all about that emotional contentment and ease and happiness, fulfillment, all of those things. This is a card of relaxation. In its most simple form, this is a card of relaxation, and you can actually even see it here on the design of this card, how there are all of these cats. They are massive cats, I don't know why, but there are all of these cats, these felines, and then there is this girl who is very cozily and very very trustingly and lovingly sort of napping with these cats. And so this is a very emotionally, how should I say, a very emotionally open card. It's very it talks about independence as well, in a sense, you looking after your needs and all of that. But because it's coming out with the Queen of Swords here, this to me tells me that your future self is saying that you don't actually have to protect your well-being anymore. It's not that important that you have to protect it, or you have to be super discerning and super critical towards other people and going through this screening process, making sure that, you know, you don't allow everyone to get too close to you. You don't allow others to see this more like emotionally vulnerable energy here. You don't allow others to get too comfortable around you, and you don't allow yourself to get too comfortable around other people. It feels like a two-way street here. And that's, again, the energy that I feel like, at least for a lot of you, that's the energy that you have been in. And now you are sort of slowly but surely coming out of it. And again, you are going to be in different like spots or different places or stages on that journey, depending on where you are specifically in your own life journey. But there is definitely some sort of like guardedness that these two cards are talking about. And that's why, again, these cards are here saying that you don't really need to do that. It's not as important. You may be still having some inklings that it's quite important, but in truth, again, I feel like you are much more protected than you realize. So I find it very funny that these cards are coming out in a row like this. And finally, we have the Wheel of Fortune with the Two of Swords here. And these two cards are talking about what is coming. So the first thing that I'm feeling here, especially because we have this Wheel of Fortune card here, which to me is always like a joker card. It's one of those cards that you can never fully know what the divine has in store for you. That's the Wheel of Fortune. It's like bingo. It's like playing lotto. You never know what you're going to get. But when the Wheel of Fortune comes out upright, it usually signifies that, again, things are moving towards the better. And I feel like we were talking about that with these two cards here and with these rainbow symbols coming out too. So that almost gave us a little bit of a glimpse into what is coming. But the Wheel of Fortune definitely like solidifies that even more. And because the Two of Swords is here, it almost tells me that the divine has something in store for you that you don't see coming. And it almost feels like this section is saying that whatever is coming towards you is going to be a surprise, and it's not something that you can necessarily like predict or see in advance. So this almost feels like we are like actually barred from exploring that path and from seeing beyond what this path has to offer you. So I don't know, I feel like your future self is being a bit cheeky and not allowing you to see what to get ready for. But I just feel like it's because they don't want to ruin the surprise for you. I do feel like it's something very, very good. Again, the rainbow symbol like already directed us down that path a little bit. But with the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like it's something that you just don't expect. You can't see, you can't predict. And it's going to be possibly something even a lot better than you have imagined for yourself. So I feel like at this time, the best advice that I can give you based on the messages from your future self is that stay open-minded. And I feel like at this time, with all of these energies, the things that you are currently experiencing, I feel like you're very much on the right path. And you are opening yourself up more and more and more. And we will see in a second what advice your future self has for you. But yeah, this section definitely makes me think that there's going to be something that just like sweeps you off your feet, something that takes you by surprise, something that you never could have expected or seen coming. But I feel like it's going to be really, really positive. And yeah, it seems like it's something that is not necessarily in your control, where the divine is definitely organizing and orchestrating some things for you. So it's going to be very exciting. Pile number 3. I feel like you are going to have a really cool surprise coming your way. But anyway, let's look at the last oracle cards that we have here to close the reading out with. So these are going to be last pieces of advice or last pieces of important information from your future self. So let's see what they have to say. Okay, we have discomfort, another number 5, by the way, with number 14. Okay, yeah, we have Aquarius energy, collaborate. And finally, oh, beautiful, we have trine sextile energy, symbiosis. So yeah, okay, I feel like these 3 cards almost like speak of one single message, or it feels like they all sort of mesh together. So basically, I feel like your future self wants you to embrace the discomfort of going through these changes, of exposing your heart, of becoming more and more vulnerable, and becoming more emotionally like exposed or receptive, open, which it may be very, very uncomfortable for you. And because we had quite a lot of, well, I can't say quite a lot of, but I have noticed the Aquarius energy here in these cards. And so you may have Aquarius somewhere in your chart in a very, very like important place. So you could have like a moon, a rising sign, or a sun sign too, or maybe even Venus in your Aquarius too. I don't know, but it just, there is this Venus, this Aquarius energy here. And I'm also just noticing because now we have the Aquarius symbology of like the water bearer here. And I'm actually noticing that the angel on this card, or the woman on this card, also has the water jug, and it very much reminds me of the Aquarius energy. So there is quite a lot of Aquarius symbology here. And so you may like resonate with that of maybe not being that in tune with your emotions, or not that like expressive of your emotions, that type of thing. Again, I feel like that's sort of the past energy. That's something that you are moving away from. But again, it does feel like there is a bit of discomfort added here. So as you go through this discomfort of like opening up more and becoming more in tune with your emotions, there seems to be a beautiful like coming together energy that your future self definitely wants you to embrace. Again, for some of you, I feel like you're already here. For others of you, this is something that is coming. So your future self wants to embrace that, wants you to open up to that, like reaching out and connecting energy, because I feel like these connections are actually something that is going to like make your life a lot more enjoyable, bring in a lot more flow and ease and enjoyment. And that's what the symbiosis card is representing, that alongside these connections, or with the help of other people, with the help of these connections and truly like emotionally bonded relationships, you can actually achieve so much more, and you can become something even like greater, even more powerful. Again, as I was talking about here with this Yamaya card, that you are being built up and you are being healed thanks to these supportive and loving energies around you. So wow, pile number 3, this was insane. This reading was insane. It was also so incredibly positive and beautiful and full of light. And I hope that you could sense this uplifting energy through the reading as well, that this energy reached you through these messages. But wow, honestly, this was so much fun to do. So I really appreciate you being here and watching this reading, and I really enjoyed hanging out with you. You have some really cool things to look forward to, I am sure of it. So just embrace this journey and have fun with it. But yeah, wow, if you resonated with this, please let me know. You can leave me a comment down in the comment section, or you can just give me a thumbs up too. That would let me know that this resonated. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so that we could hang out in the future too and do more of these cool readings. But pile number 3, if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you guys very soon in my next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4. I hope that you are all doing really well, that you are having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, whatever it is so far. And I really thank you for being here. And I also thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, doing all of those things if that's what you have been doing. Thank you so, so much. But let's move straight on to the cards because that's what you are really here for. So let's see first and foremost through these oracle cards what sort of energy or situation you are currently in right now. We have wish wisely. Use your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desire and take practical steps towards making your dreams come true. Okay. We also have, oh, cool that the colors are sort of working together here. We have Commander Ashtar. I hope that I pronounced it right. We have Starseed, Space Travel, and Galactic Guides. Ooh. We have number 39, Vulnerability. Open your heart, allow yourself to be tender. And we have number 43, Endurance, keep going. A lot of blue coming out here. Oh, wow. And finally, we have number 41, Freedom. More blue. Okay. So pile number 4, I have to say, there is a bit of a similar energy that I'm feeling here that I was also feeling with pile number 2. Not that the messages was similar in any way necessarily, but just that the energy felt very like scattered and it was very difficult for me to like make sense of those messages and bring them into a cohesive message. And I'm kind of feeling the same thing with you too, not gonna lie. But I am sort of feeling like a bit of an underlying current here that seems to be coming out. And that underlying current is the feeling of you having some sort of very grand, very, very big, very massive wishes or dreams or visions for your life, something that you are so sure that you are supposed to go after or that you want to go after. But it also feels like at the same time, whatever this grand vision is, it could be quite out there, especially because of this card here. It could be quite out there. It could be quite like extravagant, or maybe for some people even like completely unrealistic or completely like impossible to achieve. And so I feel like because of the grandness of this vision that you have for yourself, there is also an element of doubt here. There is also an element of fear of you sort of like failing or not being able to come through. But at the same time, especially because of this card here, I'm feeling that you are not allowing yourself to experience those fears. You're not allowing yourself to like have these doubts or share these doubts with anyone. It's almost like you are currently in a position where you are expecting so incredibly much of yourself that it almost is like not human. It's almost like I don't know, maybe that sounds a bit harsh, but hopefully you kind of see where I'm going with this. Like, it's like you are not allowing yourself to be human in this endeavor or this goal and pursuing this goal. It's like you are putting in so much like energy or hope or yeah, I don't know. It feels like you're putting in so much of yourself into that thing that that you're almost like forgetting to take care of yourself and forgetting to take care of your like innate needs, your emotional, physical needs that are with you because you are human, because you are having a human experience. And so you may be like under a lot of strain right now. I don't know why I feel that. But it feels like you could be under a lot of strain, but you're not, like, again, but you're not allowing yourself to feel and experience that strain. Or I should say, you are experiencing the strain, but you're not allowing yourself to, like, buckle under it, or you're not allowing yourself to give in to that strain and, like, take a breather to take a load off, you know, you're not allowing yourself to do that. I feel like your vessel is, like your vessel as in your body, is very much like taking a lot of hits and blows right now. But it's almost like, it almost feels like, okay, I don't know, this feels a bit like out of sorts. So if you don't resonate with that, you don't have to take that on board. But I definitely feel that for some of you, you almost feel like your human body is a nuisance. Like you would much rather not have to deal with the physical and the mental and the emotional needs that your body has. I feel like you are so heavily in this like spiritual energy, or this almost like galactic or spiritual energy, especially when it comes to like what it is that you are trying to achieve, or what it is that you feel that your mission is, what it is that you are sort of pushing yourself so hard for, that it's like your body is a nuisance. Your body is getting in the way, or your like human needs and weaknesses are getting in the way. And I feel like you are finding ways to like override those needs, or finding ways to like push yourself and not really deal with whatever your body may actually be signaling you at this time. Because especially with this endurance energy, with this keep going, this to me feels like that's your mantra for yourself right now. That you are like, you are just pushing yourself. You're pushing yourself very, very hard, because you believe that whatever this wish is like going to set you free, or is going to maybe even set someone else free as well. It's like there's a grander mission here. But yeah, I feel like with that grander vision and mission that you are trying to carry out, you are really also like very demanding of yourself, very almost like harsh towards yourself as well, and not allowing yourself any sort of weaknesses. And I don't know, if this is something that you are trying to accomplish with someone else, then it could also be that you are having very, very high expectations for others in your sort of group or collective too. But for some reason, I'm feeling more so that this is like a solo mission. I don't know. But again, take it as it resonates. So yeah, I'm sorry, pile number 4. As I said, it feels like somewhat scattered, or it feels somewhat like difficult to like weave into a single message or something like that. I don't know. It feels almost like out of my reach and difficult to access. But if at any level this message is resonating for you, then keep on watching. But yeah, I do want to clarify though. I don't want this to like leave a wrong impression for you. I feel like this mission that you are pushing yourself so hard for, and possibly your team as well, if you are working in a team, it actually is very like noble. It's actually something that is like going to be helpful, not just for yourself, but for the whole collective, or for a bigger group of people. There's there's something like much more like widespread about this mission of yours. But again, I feel like it's almost like eating away at you, or draining you, or it's definitely taking a lot out of you in a physical sense, maybe even again in an emotional and in a mental sense as well. But you're trying to sort of like look past that. Anyway, that's what I'm feeling. So yeah, this is noble what you're doing. I don't want this to come off as like you're doing something out of like greed, or out of wanting to reach some sort of status or whatever, you know. But anyway, if you resonate with this, then definitely keep on watching. We are going to now move on to the tarot cards, and these tarot cards are going to actually tell us what your future self wants you to know. So the first section is going to talk about what your future self wants you to focus on right now. What is actually not that important according to your future self that you may deem very important at this time. And finally, we're going to look at what you should get ready for, so what's coming. Let's see. Okay, we start off with the Star. Wow, and Judgment. Massive, massive major arcanas coming through. Here's the Star with that big, like it actually even talks about this Wish Wisely card too. It's tying those two together, but the Star definitely talks about that like divine grand mission that you feel that you have. Okay, we also have the Fool. Wow, and the Hanged Man in reverse. We have only Major Arcana so far. So as I was saying, this feels massive. Whatever this is that you're doing, it's massive. That's what the Major Arcanas are talking about. Okay, yeah. We are still going with the Major Arcana. And finally we have Justice and the Six of Wands. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's dig into this row of Major Arcana pile number 4. So we're starting off with the Star and Judgment, and these two cards here, as I said, are talking about what your future self wants you to focus on. So with the Star being here, I feel like it is sort of saying that your focus on going after this mission, going after what it is that you feel called to do, especially with the Judgment card here too, is very much on point, and you are definitely following the right path and doing what you're meant to be doing. But because the Judgment card is here, it makes me feel that your future self wants you to sort of really weigh it up for yourself, whether the thing that you are so passionately pursuing is like truly the thing that you are trying to achieve, or like what the end goal is specifically. Like, have you considered that? Have you actually thought to yourself, like, what you're going to be doing when you reach that end goal, right? What happens then? What happens next? So just like asking yourself the real meaning of like what your deepest wish is, or whether the thing that you are so desperately pursuing right now, whether it even aligns with what your heart truly, truly yearns for. I feel like that's why this Wish Wisely card here is too, or is here too, because it's asking you to ask yourself and to consider whether the goal that you are after is still the thing that is going to make you happy or give you this sense of satisfaction, or like why you are going about it in such a passionate or obsessive way. And another thing that the Judgment card here is asking of you is like, is there another way to go about reaching this point or reaching this goal of yours? Maybe there is something that is a bit more easy on you and a bit more easy on, again, if you are working with other people, a bit more easy on your team as well. Is there a better way, a more constructive way, a more efficient and beneficial way to reach what it is that you want? So I feel like Judgment is asking these questions of you, and only you can answer them for yourself. If you feel like the things that you are doing right now and the way that you are going about these things right now is the best way to do it, then go ahead, keep on doing it. But I do feel like your future self sort of is hinting that, again, it may be taking a bit too much out of you. And so there is a point of really sort of being super, super honest with yourself, and maybe like even just taking a step back and fully judging the situation, taking in the whole situation, taking stock of where you are, where you want to go, and how your journey has been so far. But again, on a grand scale, I feel like your future self definitely wants you to keep following the calling that you have, this deeper divine mission that you feel. But now we get to the Fool card and we get to the Hanged Man in reverse. And what these two cards are telling me is, first and foremost, your future self wants you to know that it's not actually important at all to get to your desired goal in like a very, very quick amount of time or a very short amount of time. Because the Fool coming out, it always makes me think of like some sort of haste or some sort of like jumping into things and getting invested super quickly. And as well with the Hanged Man in reverse, this tells me that you don't really want to waste any time, or you don't really want to slow your progress down in any way. You don't, again, it's that energy of like not wanting to allow yourself to have a breather, right? Or maybe not, it's not that you don't want to allow yourself to have it, you're just not allowing yourself to have it. Because whatever this thing is, this goal of yours seems so much more important. But again, I feel like your future self is saying that there is actually no rush. This whole thing is meant to be a journey. This whole thing is meant to be a progress, and it's not a race for you to go through. And so I feel like this rushing and getting to the end line as quickly as possible is not actually that important. But the other aspect that I'm feeling here, especially with the Hanged Man in reverse, is that whatever this thing is that you are going after, it's not actually worth the sacrifice that you are making. As I was saying, it feels like you are putting a lot of like taxing energy and a lot of draining energy on your body. And you may be, again, sacrificing your own well-being too much in the face of whatever this thing is that you are trying to achieve. And your future self is saying that it's not necessary, it's not needed. And again, I feel like there is this calming down energy that your future self wants you to sort of take on instead. And finally, we have this Justice card and the Six of Wands. I feel like all of these cards are very much like straightforward because you seem to be so very clear about what this goal of yours is and what you need to do. So as I started saying, with the Justice card and the Six of Wands talking about what's to come or what your future self wants you to get ready for, this to me is saying that you are getting your reward. You are getting what you are due. So I feel like you don't really have to worry about like getting to the finish line as quickly as possible or pushing yourself to the limit here. Because you are getting the price or the prize or the reward that you deserve. And I feel like with the Six of Wands here, it's almost like victory is guaranteed. Like you are, because you are doing what you're meant to be doing. That's why all of these major arcanas are here too. You're doing what you're meant to be doing. But I feel like at the same time, like this, how should I say it? I feel like at the same time, there is an underlying question here that your future self is posing. And it's that I do realize that you're doing something for like the greater good, or you're doing something that is like this divine mission, or that you feel that you are sort of destined to fulfill. But at the same time, is this goal actually, as I said, what you want to? Is it something that you truly want to accomplish, or what is it in the first place that would make you feel like happy and fulfilled? If those two things align for you, that's great, that's amazing, keep doing it. But again, there may be a more efficient way, or a more like self-preserving way of going after it. But if you sort of ask yourself these questions, and if you realize that the thing that you are currently like chasing or going after is not truly for the benefit of you, but it's only meant to like help out others in some way, then I feel like your future self really wants you to sort of consider your own needs more as well. Again, we get to this point of your own needs, which are being neglected, which are being repressed or suppressed, or however you want to say it. It feels like the sacrifice that you are making is a bit too big for whatever this thing is that you are going after. Putting the brakes on things, I feel like is something that you may really benefit from here. Pile number 4, as admirable, as noble as this thing is that you are going after, especially if it's meant to like set some people free, or the collective free, or have some sort of like massive effect on a bigger scale. It's also important to not lose that sense of self-preservation, because the world needs you alive. We need you alive. We need you to be healthy and strong and capable, so that you could keep on fulfilling your mission, because it's not just one thing. It's not just this one goal that you have to fulfill and then it's like you're done. So you are needed. And because of that, there is as annoying as it is, there is the need also to look after yourself, to look after this vessel that you are currently residing in. And so I don't want to say anything like to, make you scared or anything like that, even though I feel like you're not one that scares easily anyway. But with the Justice card here, I do think that the flip side of this Justice card, which is saying that you are getting your what's due, or you are getting what you are owed, the flip side of the Justice card is that your actions are going to have an effect. They are going to have a result. And it's like, I feel like it's sort of tapping on your conscience maybe a bit as well, because as I said, if you keep neglecting yourself, then at one point you are going to be facing the results or the consequences of that as well. And even if you succeed in your mission, you may like suffer from the consequences of you pushing yourself too hard, or not taking care of your vessel, right? Not taking care of your body. I don't know why I keep saying vessel. It's so strange. I don't usually use that word for the body, but with you, pile number 4, I keep feeling the need to say that word. So that sort of makes me feel like you are someone who is like a very cosmic soul or a very galactic soul, and you may be struggling having this human experience. It all may seem very foreign or alien to you. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's what I was feeling here. And that's what I get that your future self wants to sort of turn your focus on. But let's close the reading out with some final oracle card messages. These oracle cards are going to be advice for you from your future self, or just some additional important messages that your future self wants you to know right now. Okay, yeah, we have Mars motion. We have Juno partnership. Oh my god, and we have first house arrival. This is insane. We have another number 39, by the way, I just noticed that. So first and foremost, again, with the arrival card here, I feel like your future self is saying very, very concretely, just like we saw here with the 6 of Wands and this Justice card, you are going to be arriving at your destination. There is no question about that. You are going to be successful, so you don't have to worry. And I hope that that sort of in and of itself takes the ease off, or the pressure off of you, in at least to some degree. But now we have this Mars energy, this motion, and that's the thing that I was feeling here, right? That you are pushing yourself to the limit. You are doing everything that you can to keep the momentum going. And that's Mars energy for you. That's that driven, motivated, very passionate energy that is the driving force that pushes us forward, that pushes us into action. And that's clearly the energy that you're in. And again, I feel like your future self is saying that, again, you are doing the right thing, but there is a massive but here. We have this Juno partnership in the center. And that makes me feel like your future self wants you to, again, like sort of share the burden a bit with someone, or share the responsibility, or the weight of what it is that you're doing. Like, basically, again, you're putting a lot of strain, too much strain on yourself. So sharing that responsibility, or like collaborating with someone, taking someone as like getting someone to help you or assist you in some way with this mission is going to ease the pressure and take that excessive pressure off of you. So that's going to be really beneficial. But now I do realize that not all of you possibly have someone to like include in this mission of yours, or maybe you don't even want to include someone in this mission of yours, and that's fine too. But in that case, I feel like this partnership is talking about you partnering up with the divine, or you seeking assistance and help from your angels, from your guides, from your ancestors, even from God, from I don't know, ascended masters, elementals, higher being, whoever this is that you resonate with the strongest, you know, or it may even be like galactic beings, right, from like other galaxies. So whoever you resonate with, it's just important for you to like reach out and connect with an assisting energy, so that the whole pressure wouldn't be solely on you and weighing you down as heavily, or taking that much out of you. So that's what I feel like is the biggest message here from your future self. That if you don't want to like suffer the consequences of pushing yourself too far and putting too much strain on your physical vessel, then make sure to find assistance in some way, and you are going to be successful. In any case, you're going to get to the end of this finish line that you are striving towards. So as I said, hopefully this takes the pressure off of your shoulders in some way, and helps you to breathe a bit more easily. But yeah, those are the messages for you, pile number 4. I hope that you resonated with this reading, and I hope that they gave you something useful, something necessary, something to chew on, and yeah, that the messages did what they were supposed to do. But anyway, if this spoke to you, if you recognized yourself, if you understood what I was talking about, it wasn't complete gibberish to you, please do let me know. It would mean so much to me. You can give me a thumbs up, or you can also leave me a comment section letting me know that you chose this pile and that this message was yours. And of course, if you enjoyed my energy and if you want to do more of these readings in the future, not miss out on my future uploads, don't forget to subscribe and join my feather tribe. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 4. If I don't see you in any of the other piles, I do hope that I see you very soon in my next reading. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Bye-bye.